You think prison security levels are about how long your sentence is. What actually happens is very different. Security level has almost nothing to do with how many years you're serving. It has everything to do with what the system believes you are capable of doing next. This is the part nobody explains clearly. The federal prison system doesn't sort people by punishment. It sorts them by risk. You start here believing prison means walls, towers, and armed guards. What you find instead is closer to a supervised dormitory. Minimum security federal camps have no perimeter fences in most cases, no armed towers, no razor wire. Inmates at this level often work jobs on site, groundskeeping, food service, administrative tasks. The system isn't being lenient, it's being efficient. That formula considers your criminal history, offense severity, sentence length, age, and history of violence, every category adding or subtracting points. What almost nobody understands walking in is that this number can change, and when it does, everything about where you live changes with it. You think low security is just a slightly stricter version of camp life. What actually happens is a significant jump in structure. Low security institutions have double fence perimeters, often reinforced with electronic detection systems. Dormitory or cubicle-style housing replaces the open camp layout. The uncomfortable truth is this: the system isn't judging your character, it's calculating probability. Movement is more controlled here. Head counts happen multiple times a day. This is the point where almost everyone underestimates how much psychological adjustment is required. You think medium security is the middle ground, not too soft, not too harsh. What actually happens is that this level houses one of the most dangerous mixes in the entire system. Group dynamics shift. Gang affiliation becomes far more relevant here than at lower levels. Housing units are typically cell-based rather than open dormitories, marking the first real transition from communal living to confinement. What happens next surprises most people who assume violence in prison is random. It isn't. You think high security means violent criminals kept separate from society. What actually happens is more specific. It means violent criminals kept separate from each other. The physical environment reflects this immediately. Reinforced perimeters, multiple layers of fencing, electronic monitoring, armed towers staffed around the clock. The crime that got someone here often happened years ago. What keeps them here is ongoing behavior. High security populations often include individuals who have already been housed at every lower level. You think maximum security is the ceiling, the absolute worst the system has. What actually happens is that there's a level above even that. Inmates housed here are typically in single occupancy cells for the vast majority of the day. Placement here often isn't about the original crime at all. It's about demonstrated capability and intent to cause serious harm while already incarcerated. Movement within the facility is minimal and heavily controlled. Human contact is deliberately limited. You think SHU is just another name for solitary confinement as punishment. SHU is used for two very different reasons that produce the exact same physical conditions: disciplinary or protective. A single serious infraction can undo years of clean behavior, pushing someone back toward a higher security level. You think every restrictive unit exists purely for violence control. What actually happens introduces a category most people have never heard of: risk based on the ability to communicate. All communication, mail, phone calls, visitation, is recorded, monitored, and often reviewed by specialized staff. Physical containment isn't the primary concern here. Informational containment is. You think death row exists at a single, universal security standard nationwide. Placement isn't based on an ongoing violence risk formula. It's mandated by the nature of the sentence itself. Capital cases involve extended appeals processes that can last decades. No amount of behavioral compliance changes the housing category, only potentially the privileges within it. You think once you're classified, you stay in one system. What actually happens is that jurisdiction itself becomes a variable. Federal and state systems operate independently, with different classification formulas and institutional cultures. Interstate corrections compacts allow states to transfer inmates to other states' facilities for safety reasons. Even within a system built on formulas, human negotiation between agencies still shapes outcomes. You think your security level is the end of the story once you're assigned it. What actually happens is that classification is never final. It's constantly recalculated. Someone who entered at high security can, over years of clean behavior, gradually move down through medium, low, and eventually minimum security. The reverse is equally true. Someone who entered at low security can climb the entire ladder in the opposite direction. It was never really about the original crime at all. It was about a continuously updated calculation of what a person currently represents. There's no dramatic final scene here, no explosion of consequence, no cinematic reveal, just a formula, recalculated year after year, deciding, one point at a time, where thousands of people sleep tonight. If this changed how you see the American prison system, you're not the only one. Drop the next topic you'd like broken down in the comments.